When your hamster does all the little things it does around you, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Yes, a lot of it is adorable. But behind that sweetness, there's a whole language most people completely miss. These signs are some of the most emotionally loaded things your hamster can do. And if you read them the wrong way, which most owners do, you might quietly break the trust they were offering you. Let's start with what the first sign really means. 1. I trust you. Ever caught your hamster mid-grooming right there in your hand or beside you, just washing their face with those tiny paws, dragging their feet over their ears like the world doesn't exist? That is not random. That is not just a quirk of their schedule. That is your hamster saying the most vulnerable thing they know how to say. Think about what grooming in front of another living creature actually costs a hamster. A hamster is not a predator. They are, in almost every sense, prey. Small enough that owls, snakes and foxes would take them without a second thought. So their whole nervous system is built around one rule. Stay alert. Eyes scanning, nose reading the air, body always half ready to bolt. For a creature wired like that, stopping to groom near another being is not a habit. It is a decision. They are choosing, on purpose, to drop their guard completely. Because grooming requires full attention turned inward. It means they are not watching you. They are not watching the room. They have decided in that moment that nothing here is going to hurt them. So when your hamster settles in your hands and starts washing their face like you are just furniture in the safest place they know, read it for what it is. They are saying, I do not need to be afraid right now. Out of every space I could be, and every threat I have ever had to track, you are the place I feel safe enough to stop watching. That is not a small gesture. For an animal as alert as a hamster, it is one of the realest things they can offer, and the best part is you can help build it. Researchers studying hamster behaviour have consistently found that calm, quiet handling over time, without sudden movements or loud sounds, significantly reduces baseline stress and increases willingness to engage rather than flee. The grooming you see in your hands is the result of that work, and it is telling you it is working. Hold on to that idea of vulnerability because it comes back hard at the end of this video. There is one final sign, the one almost every owner reads completely backwards, where your hamster offers you the deepest trust they have, and most people accidentally throw it back in their face. We will get to exactly what it is and how to respond. 2. Back off. I mean it. Has your hamster ever bitten you out of nowhere and you swore there was no warning? Here is the hard truth. There is almost always a warning. You just were not reading the signs right. Hamsters give you a countdown before they make contact, and once you can see it, the surprise bites basically stop. It comes in 3 signals and they usually stack in the same order. First, the freeze. Not the relaxed stillness of a sleeping hamster, but a sudden, total lock. Every muscle goes rigid, the nose stops twitching. And that is significant because a hamster's nose is almost never still. It is always reading the air, processing the world in real time. When it stops, something just shifted hard in your hamster's brain from curious to cornered. Next, the posture drops. They flatten themselves low and tight against the surface, pressing down like they are trying to disappear into it. Their ears may pin back close to their head. This is not hiding. This is bracing. Your hamster is physically compressing themselves the way any small animal does when they have run out of space and run out of options. And then the one most people miss entirely because it looks harmless. The mouth opens just slightly. You might see the teeth. It might come with a small sharp squeak. That is not a sound of pain. That is a final declaration. The warning they give when everything else they showed you did not work. Here is what to do with this. When you see the freeze and the flattened posture, stop whatever your hand is doing and give them space. Pull back slowly. Look away. Lower the threat in every way you can signal. You are not being rejected. Your hamster is communicating honestly in the only language they have, and they are trusting you to hear it. The owners who get bitten are not unlucky. They are just talking over their hamster. 3. You belong to me. Ever had your hamster walk deliberately across your hand, slow and purposeful, dragging their flank along your skin like they are covering ground? Or pressed the side of their body against your fingers in a way that felt more intentional than just passing through? Here is what that actually is. Hamsters have scent glands embedded in their hips, sometimes called flank glands, and those glands are one of the main tools they use to define their world. When your hamster rubs those spots on you, they are not just exploring. They are leaving a chemical signature, one invisible to you but completely clear to them. A mark that says this is known, this is mine, this is safe. In the hamster world, scent is essentially everything. It is how they navigate their territory, how they recognize individuals, how they decide what belongs in their environment and what does not. So when your hamster takes the time to drag those scent glands across you, they are not just investigating, they are writing you into their map, folding your scent into their sense of home. And here is the part that flips the whole thing on its head. We tend to think of ourselves as the owners. We bought the cage, we fill the food bowl, we clean everything, we are clearly in charge. But in your hamster's mind, the marking runs the other way. You are not their keeper, you are a known element in their territory, something familiar enough and trusted enough to be filed under safe. That rub is not accidental. It is your hamster deciding, in the clearest language they have, that you are part of where they live. And getting folded into a hamster's world by a creature that trusts almost nothing is genuinely one of the better things that can happen. 4. I need you right now. Did you know that hamsters are largely silent animals? They do not communicate the way dogs do, with open, obvious vocalizations. Most of their real language happens through scent and body posture, things that are almost invisible to us. So when your hamster does make a sound, when they squeak or chitter or scratch urgently at the side of their cage while looking right at you, understand what you are actually hearing. That sound is directed at you, specifically. Hamsters learn over time what gets a response. They figure out which behaviours bring you over, which sounds make you look up, and they use them deliberately. The scratch at the cage door right when you walk into the room, the small sharp squeak when the food bowl has been empty too long, the rapid, restless running back and forth at the front of the enclosure when they want out and they know you are watching. They are not making noise, they are sending a message, and they have already learned that you are the one who can answer it. Then there is the orientation behaviour, the hamster who runs to whatever side of the cage is closest to where you are sitting, who presses their nose to the wall facing you, who immediately stops what they are doing and turns when you enter the room. We sometimes read this as basic stimulus response, but look at what it actually is. Out of every activity available to them, every tunnel, every wheel, every pile of bedding to burrow into, they keep choosing to be where you are. Your presence is the thing that redirects them. That is not instinct misfiring. That is your hamster telling you that you are a known, wanted part of their world. 5. I'm so glad you're home. Ever notice how your hamster seems to know you are coming before you have even opened their cage? The way they emerge from their nest or their hide, nose going fast, body oriented right toward you, moving to the front like something just switched on. That is not coincidence. That is recognition. Hamsters have an extraordinary sense of smell, far beyond what we can really picture. Researchers studying hamster sensory biology have found they can identify individual humans by scent and respond differently to familiar people than to strangers. Your hamster has built a scent profile of you specifically. Your smell, the timing of when you appear, the sound of your steps, all of it has been catalogued and filed. So when you walk in and your hamster comes alive, nose twitching rapidly, body loose and forward-oriented rather than frozen or retreating, what you're watching is recognition firing in real time, not just stimulus and response. A specific individual arriving that your hamster has decided is good news. And here is the part most people walk right past. Your hamster does this before you have done anything for them in that moment, before you have opened a food bag, before you have put your hand in, before you have earned it in any way they could be calculating. The response starts the second they detect you. At its core, it is not about what you are about to provide, it is about you arriving. They are greeting their person, and the hamsters who do this most consistently are usually the ones who have learned over a long stretch of quiet, ordinary days that when you show up, things are good. So watch for it tonight when you come home. That rushing nose and those quick forward steps are your hamster, saying the simplest, warmest thing they know how to say. I'm so glad you're here.